When Miss Emily Grierson died, our whole town went to her funeral. The men threw respect, but the women mostly to see the inside. Emily's wealthy father owned a big house that had once been white, where she lived alone for almost 30 years. When Emily's father died, he made sure she had to never pay taxes, but the townspeople wanted that to change. They held a special meeting of the Board of Aldermen, and they sent the tax collectors to her house.
Here for your taxes?
I have no taxes in Jefferson.
Yeah, you do.
See Colonel Satoris.
No.
See Colonel Satoris.
Dad.
So she vanquished them, just as she had vanquished their fathers 30 years before about the smell. That was 2 years after her father's death and a short time after her sweetheart. So the next night, after midnight, men crossed Emily's lawn and slunk about the house like burglars, where they saw her in the window, but later not.
He's dead!
No, he's not.
When her father died, it got about that the house was all that was left to her. The day after his death, all the ladies prepared to call at the house and offer condolence and aid. As is our custom, Miss Emily met them at the door. She told them that her father was not dead. She did that for 3 days, and just as they were about to resort to law and force, she broke down and they buried her father. Miss Emily was sick for a long time, but the town had just let the contracts for the paving sidewalks that in the summer after her father's death they began the work. The construction company came with the riggers and a foreman named Homer Barron. First we were glad that Miss Emily would have an interest because all the ladies said, of course a Grierson would not think seriously of a northerner, a day laborer. They just said, poor Emily, her kinsfolk should come to her. And as soon as the old people said, poor Emily, the whispering began. Do you suppose it's really so? They said to each other, of course it is, what else could? Poor Emily. She carried her head high enough, even when we believed that it was fallen. Like when she bought the rat poison, the arsenic. That was over a year after they had began to say, poor Emily.
Together forever. Let's go inside my house now.
I don't want to go away.
I want some poison, she said to the druggist. She was over 30 then, and still an ugly, plump woman. Yes, Miss Emily, what kind? I want arsenic. The druggist looked down at her. But the law requires you tell what you're going to use it for. Miss Emily just stared at him and took the poison. Soon we all said she will kill herself, and then Homer Barron came back to town and went into her house and was never seen again. When we next saw Miss Emily, she had grown fat and her hair turned a pepper and salt iron gray. She had closed the upstairs of her house, and shortly after this, she died. Miss Emily Gerson's funeral was held in her house. We came to see the inside of it for the very first time. Already we knew that there was one room in that region above stairs, which no one had seen in 40 years. The violence of breaking down the door seemed to fill the room with a pervading dust. It was everywhere. Laying in the bed was a man himself. What was left of him, rotted beneath what was left of the nightshirt, had become inextricable from the bed in which he lay. In the pillow there lay an iron gray hair, which we found out was Emily's, and concluded that the indentation and the iron gray hair in the pillow led us to show that Miss Emily Gerson had been sleeping with the dead corpse of Homer Barron for almost every night for the past 30 years.
Ow.
Oh my god!